So these are the beams that I bought the other day from the salvage yard. I think they're carry, but it's hard to say until I cut them up. They're still full of nails and stuff, so I've got to take them out first before I put them through the saw. This is my homemade table saw. It's a bit rough, but it works pretty good. I've just got a circular saw bolted onto the bottom of a piece of wood. Yeah. And so here are some beams that I've cut up earlier today, and they come along alright. And here is all the finished sticks that I've done so far. So I think there's about 260 odd here, but I still need like another, I think another 300 or so. It's hard, I can't remember exactly. And yeah, so that's taken me a couple of days to cut all these up. There's quite a bit of time involved. But yeah, so these little sticks, I've got some timber coming in a couple of weeks' time, and I've cleared a space all down the side here, and it's all going to get stacked up in there with all these little bits of timber in between the layers. So that way there's air can get in between the layers and it can dry out evenly. There's like a little picture I drew. So you can see, yeah, all these little sticks in between the planks, and then air can go through this way and it'll allow it to dry out evenly. It'll also support it so it doesn't warp and carry on. So yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last few days, keeping me busy. So I cut up those beams, and it's interesting that one of them turned out to be Jarrah and one turned out to be carry. So I don't know if you can see the difference on the camera, but this is Jarrah and this is carry. Slightly lighter in colour, but it's very similar. Up here, this is carry as well, but it's almost the same colour as Jarrah. So there can be a lot of trouble distinguishing between each species. But see, this is also carry here, which is quite light, and so I think that's why carry is known as eucalyptus diversicolor, because it can be a range of different colours. I thought it'd be interested. So here we are inside Rani, and you can see there's a few planks missing. Got to be put in yet. Here's one that's already been done. At the moment I'm just knocking out this one here with the X's on it. So I've got to punch out all these rivets with the punch, and then it'll fall away just like this one over here. So I'll just, you can probably see here like how all the planks have gaps in between, but that doesn't really matter so much, because when the wood gets in the water, that makes the wood swell up. So all these little gaps here, they all close up and she'll be watertight. So what we got here is this is my laminating jig used to laminate the deck beams. So that's basically the part you walk on top of the boat. These beams support all that. So what we've got is I've just drawn a picture basically of a deck beam onto this piece of plywood here, and then I've just fastened all these little blocks along the edge of it. And so once all those blocks are fastened, you can clamp all the wood with glue in between, and then it will bend around into the shape that you want. So it's pretty simple really. So usually there's a clamp on every block, but I've taken them off just to use somewhere else. Yeah, so once that's all dried, you let it set for 24 hours usually. I leave it, and then once it's all dry, you take it off the board, and then I run it through the thicknesser, and so you end up with a nice finish on all the sides of the deck beam, and in one solid piece. So I finished cutting all the little strips up. I think there's 584 in total, so I'm pretty happy all that's finished. And then once I finished cutting all them up, I had to shift the boat because I don't think there wasn't going to be enough room in between this wall here and the boat to stack all the timber I've got coming. So I just got these little car jacks here, and before the boat was sitting on blocks of wood, and so I've just lowered it down slowly with a car jack and onto these caster wheels, and then once it's sitting on the ground, it's pretty easy just to get a big piece of wood or something and just lever it across. It didn't take much to move it across. And I had to go and get some of these lights, because what I'm doing here is I'm trying to heat up this big white thing. This big white thing is the cast iron ballast, and what it does is it's sort of so when you've got the boat and the wind is blowing, say trying to blow the boat over, but because it's got all the sails on top, this sort of opposes it like a counterweight, or it is a counterweight, so it stops it from leaning over too much. And it's made out of cast iron, so it's pretty heavy. I think this one weighs just under a ton. So yeah, the camera's not real good, but the problem I got with it is the sealant I've got in between the wood keel, which the wood keel is this bit here, this grey stuff, then the sealant is the black stuff, and then the cast iron is the white. It's just been painted. The sealant isn't setting because the cast iron's really cold, and because it's so heavy, it doesn't like heat up during the day or anything. It just stays cold all the time, unless you like took it outside and put it in the sun. But I can't really do that. So I just got these lights, and I'm hoping that if I leave them on, for a few days or a week or something, it'll slowly heat up the ballast. So, and then it'll set. See, you can see there's like runs down, because the outer layer is sort of set, but you just poke a little tiny hole in it and it'll just start oozing out. As you can see, it's done down there a bit. So hopefully if we get the ballast hot enough, it'll all set solid and I won't have any problems.